Guys, we're back and we're talking the ultimate finesse fishing rods, the ultimate Ned Rig Rod. Anybody that bass fishes and wants to catch numbers of fish while still having a chance at catching a trophy bass knows how effective the Ned Rig is. It's just bass candy, but you got to have the right rod. It's one of those things that the hookup percentage should be higher than what it is, and it can be if you're using the right tools, and we've got the right tools sitting here on the deck of the boat. We're going to go through them and tell you our recommendations at 3 different price points for the ultimate Ned Rig Rod. So for those of you that are new, we have 3 rods laid out, 3 categories. It's under $150, under $300, and just the best darn rod you can come up with. I've got them sitting right here. We're going to get to them in just a minute, but first let's talk about what kind of characteristics we need in a good Ned fishing rod. So we're talking about a small finesse bait. It could be a crawl, it could be a small stick bait, it could be a little beaver style bait. Anything can fit into that Ned category. And what we're talking about is throwing it on a small finesse application head. It could be, down to something as small as, 3/32 of an ounce up to 3/8 of an ounce. It could be any of the above, but you really need the right rod in order to make this happen. So what we're going to cover primarily today are the more traditional sizes, your kind of 1/8 ounce, 3/16 ounce, even a little smaller than that. But we're going to go more on the finesse side. You can go bigger and heavier heads, but these rods are going to really fit your kind of bread and butter Ned Rig application. So what we want is we want a rod somewhere around 7 foot. I know there's a lot of guys that do like throwing a 7.3, 7.5, 7.6 rod, and those are totally fine. And in a lot of cases, those can be better. But just for your day in and day out Ned fishing, to me, that length right around 7 foot, I feel like I have a lot more control over the bait. I feel like I can stay in touch and in tune with that bait better than I can with a 7'6" rod or something of that nature. So that's why we want something around a 7 foot. We want it to have a really nice soft tip and kind of a real nice, almost parabolic type bend. Now, please don't mistaken that with something like a crankbait rod that's super moderate, but you want that rod to have a real smooth bend profile throughout the entire length of the rod. And if the last little portion above the reel seat is a nice firm, backbone, then that's great too. But the backbone is not what we need here. This is all about the tip. Now, it also can't be so parabolic and so mushy that you don't have any feel. And so that's where finding the right combination of those characteristics becomes very important. So enough of me rambling. Let's get to the meat. We got 3 rods sitting here. I'm going to start with the first one, which is under 150, but we cheated and it's not under 150, and it's only because it's such a nice rod we just had to feature it. So we have the Shimano Corrado, and this is the 7 foot light. And the thing about this rod, we'll show you here, Rob will overlay a nice little bend profile of this. You can see the tip on this rod is just fantastic. It loads very far into the blank, but it is not some whippy pool noodle. It's got some rigidity in the rear portion of the rod, but the tip does what it needs to do without being too sloppy. So it just creates this very, very nice combination that lends itself to really casting a Ned Rig rod or a Ned Rig very well, feeling very well. If you're around rock or some structure, you still have the sensitivity and the overall feel. You'll be able to detect a bite well. And then when you set the hook, it's going to drive that little, thin gauge wire hook into the fish's mouth. And then you're going to have plenty of flex to play with to be able to fight that fish and just kind of finesse it back to the boat and make sure that thing stays pinned up. So hookup ratio is very, very good with this rod. It casts amazing. I mean, you can not only cast it far, but you can also cast it with pinpoint accuracy. So you kind of get the best of both worlds there. These rods, I believe, retail for $189, if I'm not mistaken. And they're just an excellent, excellent rod. And I know it violates the 150, but we had to put this rod in here because it's really special in our eyes. So felt like it was deserving of being put in this category, even though it technically doesn't meet the price requirements. So excellent rod here. I have no negatives, no drawbacks to say on this. The handle length is exactly right. The balance is fantastic. Like I said, it casts really well. It's lightweight, it's sensitive. It does everything. And at a sub 200 price point, that's fantastic. At the sub 300 price point, if you watched our Neko Rig video, we highlighted what was technically called by Daiwa their Ned Rig rod. Well, we're running it back again because this rod has such a great action, and it is called the Ned Rig Rod, that we think it needs to be the Ned Rig Rod of choice under $300 as well. And so that's what we're picking. It's a 7'1" medium. So this would skew a little bit heavier than that Corrado rod we just mentioned. We're going a little bit heavier on the weight scale here as far as jig head weight goes. You could throw a little bit bigger Neds with this thing. You're going to cover more of the, we'll call it power Ned type of stuff, not the ultra finesse type of deals. But this gets you in your more, bigger fish category, deeper water category. And the thing that we've really noticed about this rod is just the feel and sensitivity is just outstanding on this. I mean, it is a blast to fish with. We've been having a great time with this, and it just seems like no matter what finesse application you're doing, this rod is up to the challenge. And both for that Neko rig and now for the Ned rig, it is just passed the test with flying colors. So same characteristics that we listed in that Neko video apply. Perfect length butt section, really comfortable, nice reel seat. The AGS guides are really cool. You can really feel the braid go through those guides. That's just a neat thing to feel and makes you really feel connected to the bait, in my opinion. Perfect blank. A lot of backbone here relative to some of the other Ned Rig rods on the market, but I think it plays really well here because the tip, has the right combination of characteristics too. So just an overall excellent rod. If I'm picking one rod just as a finesse spinning rod, this would be it regardless of Ned or not. It's just an awesome rod, right under 300 bucks. That's the one that gets the nod. Now, in this high-end category, there are so many rods that you could choose from. It is absurd. There are so many good Ned Rig rods. You could go with the new GLX by G Loomis, the 841. You could go with the 891. You could go with the NRX Plus 821 Ned Rig rod. Excellent choice. But we've decided we're going to go with a Megabass rod. We're going to go with a Destroyer P5, and we're going to go with the Addermine. It's a 3-power rod. It's a 6'11", and this is one of the most popular spinning rods we sell, and there's good reason for that. It is just excellent. We mentioned we want a 7-foot rod. This is 6'11", so box check there. You want something with a really nice bend profile. The actions on the Megabass rods, you never have to worry. They always have these things super dialed, and this one's no exception. Perfect action to it. Wonderful bend profile. A nice amount of backbone in the rear section of the rod. This one has a little bit thicker blank to it in the butt. Not so much in the tip, but just towards the butt section of the rod, which I kind of like. It feels like if you hook a 4 or 5 pound fish or even bigger, you're going to have some semblance of control, and that backbone plays really nicely here. So I think this rod just exhibits every characteristic that we want in a good Ned Rig rod. There are a ton of options in that high-end space. There's even some more, a Daiwa Steez rod that could fit into there too, but we had to pick one. This is the one we're going with. It's just under $500. So it is a high-end piece of equipment, but the sensitivity is on point. The design is on point. The length, the power, the tip, everything is just fantastic on this Addermine. And there's a reason that we sell a ton of these every single year, is because it is a dang nice rod. So Ned Rigs, effective, highly effective. Don't just think they're for small fish. They catch big ones too. It's just a matter of having the confidence that a big one will bite it, sticking with it, and you're going to get bit, and you're going to get bit a lot. And so for those tough days, clear water, it is dynamite. But you got to have the right tool. You're going to hook more fish with these rods. You're going to get them to the boat. Definitely check them out. Give us a subscription below. Give us a like. We told Rob we're gonna pay for him to get a haircut at 3,000 subscribers. We're throwing that on top of our previous offer. So he needs one. We're trying to get him to where, he can get an actual female to talk to him. That's the goal. So if you guys can help us out by subscribing below, that would be great. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. All of this is available at AmericanLegacyFishing.com. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We're happy to help you out in any way we possibly can. That's what we're here for. Fishing's fun. Let's make it fun. Let's have fun with it. Buying gear is fun. Let's make that fun too. So guys, appreciate it. We'll see you next time.